Okay, so as promised, here's me going through how to solve these exciting problems. Alright, so the first couple are just straight up out of the book, whatever. So we need to figure out what b is. So b is going to be the ratio of the successive y values. So I'm going to go 70 divided by 55, which comes out to be 70 divided by 55 is 1.27 repeating. So that's what b is. Now that I know what b is, I can figure out what a is by taking all of these values, or some of these values, and plugging them into the general formula for an exponential function. So I'm going to choose, I don't know, I'm going to choose the second point because 70 seems friendlier than 55. So I'm going to plug 70 in, plug 70 in for the y value. A is what I'm trying to find. B we just figured out is 1.27, and in this case x is 4. So then that tells me that 70 equals, what is 1.27 to the fourth? 70 equals 1.27, 2.601. Okay. And so that means if I divide 70 by 2.61, 2.601, that tells me that A is 26.91. So my final answer for this exponential function would be y equals 26.91 times 1.27 to the x. Alright, same thing with the next one. I'm going to start by figuring out what b is by dividing the successive y values. So 25 divided by 12 is 2 point something really small. 2.08. Okay. So then I'm going to take that and plug it into y equals a times b to the x. So let's see, what y value should I use? How about 825? So I'm going to plug 25 in. For the y, a is what I'm trying to find, times 2.08 to the 8th power. So 25 equals 350.35 times a. So to figure out what a is, I divide 25 by that. So 25 divided by 350.35 is 0.0714. So that lets me write my final answer as y equals 0.0714 times b, which we figured out in the first step was 2.08 to the x. Alright, yippee skippy. Okay, so now this is a little bit different. In this case, they want us to come up with an exponential model with a times e to the x. And so the way that we're going to do that is we are going to plug in both values for x and for y. And I'm going to do this backwards, which is going to seem a little bit confusing to start with, but there's a reason for that. So the first point that I'm going to plug in is this one right here. So 403.48 goes in for the y. A, I don't know. E, I do know, is E. And then my exponent is 4. And then what I'm going to do is right below that, I'm going to plug in this other point here, 54.61 for y equals a times e to the x powered, so x in this case is 2. So the reason why I did it like that is now I can actually divide these two things. And the reason why that's handy is, oh, nope, didn't have to do that, never mind. Undo, 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 whoops, redo. Okay, turns out I only needed to do the first one of those. I was thinking of something different. Okay, so we know what e to the fourth is, so I don't need another value. I was only solving for one variable. So 403.48 equals e to the fourth times a. So e to the fourth is 54.598. And that's times a. So then to figure out what a is, I would take 403.48 and divide it by that. So 403.48 divided by e to the fourth is 7.39. Okay, so sorry I got off on the wrong track there. So that's all I need to do is to figure out what a is, and so now I know my equation is y equals 7.39 e to the x. Okay. All right, so then I'm going to use that to find out what y equals when x equals 8. So that's easy peasy lemon squeezy. I just plug 8 in for x, so I go y equals 7.39 e to the 8th. And then I get on the old calculadora and go 7.39 e to the 8th, 22029, with some decimals nobody cares about. Okay? Alright, and then these are the last ones. I'm not going to go through those. Those are exactly the same as the first two that I did here. I'm going to challenge you to figure those out on your own, and if you can't, please feel free to send me an email and I'll go through them with you, but I'm not getting a lot of participation at this point, so I'm not going to waste a bunch of time on this if I don't have to. Alright, anyway, so that's what we got going for today. Tomorrow we'll start the next section, so get pumped about that. Alright, see you then. Bye.